Hey guys, we're looking at Mark chapter 1, verses 40 through 45 today. And a bunch of things I want to point out in here. So if this video goes a minute or two longer than normal, it's just because I want to point out a couple things that are happening with this. First of all, this is our first evidence of what's called a Markan sandwich. And a Markan sandwich is simply this. Um, when you read in the book of Mark, you'll see something happen, and then there'll be a break in that, and then there'll be kind of a finish to that. So for instance, in chapter 1, when you go back, we read about Jesus healing many. The next scene we're at, he's preaching the gospel, and then the scene right after that is back to him healing, which we have with this leper. And that's important because it's kind of a technique that Mark uses to kind of grab your attention, let you know there's other things going on behind the scenes, and then finishes the story for us. And it happens all throughout the book, and we'll do our very best to point that out. But a lot of things happening with this specific passage in Mark. And first of all, the leper coming up to him saying, "If you can cleanse me, cleanse me." And Jesus says, "I will, be clean." And he does it just like that. And you got to think about this leper. A lot of stuff going on in the background. I want to encourage you to go look that up, specifically in Leviticus 13 and Leviticus 14, because the Jews had some very specific laws with how to deal with leprosy. Basically, if you had it, you kind of had to send them out of camp until they were able to come to the priest and be healed and offer some specific offerings. But I want to read in Leviticus 13, specifically in verses 45 and 46, because this is what the man's disease was kind of doing to him, what he had to deal with. It says this: "The leprous person who has the disease shall wear torn clothes and let all the hair of his head hang loose. He shall cover his upper lip with hair and cry out, 'Unclean, unclean.' He shall remain unclean as long as he has the disease. He is unclean. He shall live alone. His dwelling shall be outside the camp." Man, how many people dwell outside the camp? How many of us feel like outsiders? And that's what was going on with this man until he heard about this guy, Jesus. And Jesus heals him. And it's a healing beyond just the disease. It's a healing of the soul. It's a healing of belonging. It's a healing that this guy can actually participate in society again, that he can come back to his identity. Two specific things I want to point out with this. First of all, he sent him to the priest, said, "Go provide evidence that you're healed. That way you can participate, have your identity again." And he told him that on your way there, make sure you don't tell anybody else about this. Now, why does Jesus do this? It's kind of interesting because you read in the Gospels that sometimes he heals people, tells them, "Hey, don't go tell anybody." Sometimes he heals people and says, "Go tell everybody you know." But if you look when those happen, it almost always happens this way. Those that are Jewish, he almost always tells them, "Don't tell anybody this is happening." Those that are Gentile, he almost always tells them, "Go tell all your friends, go tell all your neighbors, go tell all your family." Here's kind of why I think this happens. First, the Jews are looking for the Messiah, and Jesus doesn't exactly fit the bill of who they're looking for, so it causes all kinds of issues. So he tells them, "Don't tell anybody that this happened to you," because he doesn't want all these issues to happen. You can see that in our text. A bunch of issues happen. For the Gentiles, it's a representation of the gospel, of good news, that you are included in this preaching. Go tell all your friends about it. The second thing is this idea that Jesus gave him his identity back. I think that's worth thinking about. I think as far as the devotion is concerned today, where do you feel like you belong? And why do you feel like you belong this way? Why is it that you can say you have had an encounter with Jesus? And what is your response to that? Have you come to him in desperation like this leper has? Or have you come to him out of curiosity like some of the other folks that we're going to run into? You come into his presence because your parents told you to, or because that just kind of seemed like the thing to do? What caused you to encounter Jesus? And how can you help others in that encounter as well? Be thinking about those things. Go do more research on Jesus healing this leper and what this looks like. Leviticus 13, Leviticus 14. You can read about a really cool healing in the Old Testament in 2 Kings chapter 5. Go study all those things and know that there's going to be a lot crazier things that are going to happen like this. You guys have a blessed day.